Hello there everybody, how is it going and how have you been? I am EuclideanSqd, and we're back here in Duel Links to cover a re-released event. That's right, after all the craziness that was going on with the second anniversary and the Tag Duel tournament and all that other stuff, we have a re-released event. Specifically, this is Officer Tetsu Trudge's unlock event, so if you missed him the first time that he came around, this is your chance to get into unlock now. And his event works pretty similarly to any of the other character unlock events previously. Zane, Prowler, Pegasus if you were that early into the game. But basically, you participate in duels, you win these tokens, in this case I think they're called security badges or whatever, and you spend certain amounts of them at the gate to duel against Trudge at a specific difficulty level. Now, unlike character events and unlike a lot of previous event coverage, we are not going to be going right into the farming deck we will be using, because Trudge's event actually has an extra sort of mechanic to it, and it's actually kind of cool. So basically what this mechanic is called special orders, and the closest thing I can think of to it would be the Dr. Crowler event, where he gave quote-unquote homework, which was basically just 3 missions that would change every day, and completing those would just get you more goodies. The special orders work very similarly to that, except it doesn't really change by day. Instead, they just kind of hang around until you complete them or the event ends. You get these by simply dueling. You can duel Trudge, you can duel a standard duelist, the Vagabond, legendary duelists. I'm not sure about the PvP arena, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is included too. When you get them, they simply go onto your special order list, and they will sit there until you satisfy their condition, and then come to claim the reward. So, as a simple example, this top one here says check out the deck lists at the card studio. So if we run and simply do that, and you don't even have to load a deck list, all you have to do is click deck lists, and this should register. It's going to take a moment to load. I'm going to hit the home button so we can come back out. Go back in here, and it's done. So just like that, I have 2 of these extra life items to use. That's literally how all these special orders work. As soon as you achieve a win without using any trap cards, this one will go off. As soon as I finish 5 duels, this one will be available to redeem. But the catch is that these are given out completely randomly. So it's entirely possible that the first special orders you will get will not be the ones you're seeing on screen. So just be warned about that. Additionally, the ones that give better rewards are generally going to be a little bit more difficult. You can see here that I can get an ultra rare jewel, but I have to win 3 duels during my opponent's turn. Likewise, I could get another ultra rare jewel, but by winning 2 ranked duels. So the requirements change, they all happen at random. As you complete more and more special orders, the game will keep track of how many you have completed, and at certain milestones you will get gems. So I already got some gems for getting to 10 special orders completed. And as you'll see, I will get 30 more gems when I get to 30. I believe there's a big... No, that's just a super simplified instruction telling you how it works. I think there's a reward for getting to a certain amount of special orders finished. Yes, there is. When you complete 50, you will get this exclusive icon you can see right here. And at 70... you'll get a prismatic copy of the new ultra rare card that Trudge can drop. So, if you really want a new prismatic, best get to grinding on those special orders, because unfortunately there are only like 3.5-ish days left in the event by the time this video goes live. I am sorry for how late this is. I honestly just, I knew it had started, but at the same time I was kind of burnt out, and I just also kept forgetting to record it, so yeah, my bad. Moving along though, if you participated in the Trudge event last time, most of his cards are going to be the same. I was able to actually find a proper farming deck instead of just kind of using Cloudians like I did last time, even though they were only semi-effective against Trudge. This is a deck that I found on the GameA website. I will try to remember to include a link to it in the description. I need to get better about doing that. And I just realized that I also misspelled the name of it. It is my general Doesn't matter. Ignore that. Yeah, as you can see, kind of similar to the Cloudians in that it relies on the Neo-Parshoth and Sanctuary in the Sky finishing move sort of situation, as well as Golden Ladybugs to boost up your life points. But unlike the Cloudians, which are meant to sit there and stall, we now have aliens that are meant to sit there and stall. The main difference in this is that Trudge has several cards in his deck that severely mess with Cloudians. Primary example would be one of his tuner monsters, Jute Fighter, which can turn once per turn it can put a face-up monster in face-up defense position, or just change its battle position, one of the two. But the main reason that's a problem for Cloudians is that if a Cloudian monster is ever in face-up defense position, it destroys itself. Which means that when I was using the Cloudian deck the last time around, Trudge would often use his Jute Fighter, put my only Cloudian in defense mode, destroy it, tune for his Goyo Guardian, and hit me with 2800 attack points. The aliens work around that in that they are somewhat more aggressive than the Cloudians are, but they are still very much a stall tactic here. The idea being that instead of simply relying on the Cloudians to not be destroyed and cards such as Sanctuary in the Sky to nullify battle damage, the aliens will be using their A counters and their weakening effects to simply make it so that Trudge just can't attack you in the first place. So to that end, we have Alien Overlord. He is special summoned from your hand by removing 2 A counters from anywhere on the field, and then once per turn you get to place an A counter on every face-up monster your opponent controls. Alien Warrior is pretty beefy for a 4-star. It's got 1800 attack points, but it also places 2 A counters on whatever monster destroyed it in battle. And then an Alien Kid will put an A counter on any monsters that are special summoned to my opponent's side of the field. You may want to run more kids than I currently have. I'm following the deck list that I found to the letter, but the kid can be useful because Trudge does have a lot of cards that special summon. He can synchro summon, so making sure you have a kid on the field before he does that can also be pretty nice, just to get an A counter on his big powerful synchro and make it a little bit, tiny bit less threatening. And then lastly, Telepath can't generate A counters, but he is very, very essential to the deck in that once per turn, he gets to remove an A counter for an opponent's monster to destroy a spell and trap card on the field. Now, the idea is that once you get Trudge's monsters stopped by just putting enough A counters on them so they can't attack, because all these aliens have an effect that says any monster that fights with them loses 300 attack and defense for every A counter they have. But once there's enough A counters on Trudge's monsters to keep them from attacking, you can safely use Telepath to start taking out his back row cards, which is very important because he does have some nasty trap cards back there. Of particular note, he does carry a copy of Security Orb, which will put an attacking monster into defense position, as well as a Dust Tornado, which if you are not careful he may use against your Sanctuary in the Sky, and then you can't use it to boost Neo-Parshoth and deal a massive amount of piercing battle damage to win. Alien Telepath is here mostly because of that. There are replacement cards for him. For example, you could use an Anti-Magic Arrows instead and just simply not have to worry about any of Trudge's back row until the end of the game. But part of the reason I'm using Telepath, aside from it being on the deck list, is that Alien Telepath is just a rare that comes out of a box, whereas the Anti-Magic Arrows are a super rare that have to be dropped by a legendary duelist. So Alien Telepath is significantly easier to get your hands on than the Anti-Magic Arrows card. In terms of generating A counters, we also have 3 copies of A-Cell Recombination Device. You pick a face-up monster on the field, send an alien monster from your deck to the graveyard, and place A counters on it equal to the level of the sent monster. So either 4 or 6, depending on which alien I decide to send. And then during your main phase, you accept the turn that this card was sent to the graveyard. You can banish it out of your graveyard to add an alien to your deck, or from your deck to your hand. You will generally want to use Recombination Device to search out for an Overlord, so that you can special summon him and then start generating A counters constantly. Of the 3 other aliens you would send, I would say Warrior is probably the most likely target to be sent with recombination device. Excuse me. If Trudge has already got his monster card zones filled up and it doesn't look like he'll be special summoning anytime soon, Kid is kind of worthless at that point, so if you haven't used it, feel free to use it with recombination device. But you will definitely want to get an Overlord on the field semi-quickly just so that you can start generating a lot of A counters. There is a Brainwashing Beam, a continuous trap card that lets you take control of an opponent's monster that has A counters on it, and at the end of each of your turns you take away an A counter. When there are no more A counters on it, Brainwashing Beam is destroyed and the monster returns to the opponent's side of the field. Brainwashing Beam is very much an emergency card. Basically, if you somehow manage to get something onto Trudge's, like Goyo Guardian for example, but it's not quite enough to keep it from attacking, you can use Brainwashing Beam to capture it and then possibly tribute it for an alien Overlord. By putting it on your side of the field, you can just kind of stall it for a little bit, maybe until you can get a recombination device to set so that when it goes back to Trudge's side of the field you can then lock it down. You will probably, hopefully, not have to use Brainwashing Beam, but it is there in case of emergencies. Trap card you will more than likely have to use is Spike Shield with Chain. This is a very interesting trap card in that it says you target a face-up monster on the field, equip this card to that target, and it gains 500 attack. However, if the equipped monster attacks or is attacked while in defense position, it gains defense equal to its attack during damage calculation only. This is a really good stalling card because Trudge's AI is actually smart enough to know when it can't attack through a monster in defense mode that has Spike Shield. So, as an example, if you put one Spike Shield with Chain on an Alien Warrior in defense mode, Alien Warrior will effectively have a defense of 3,300. None of Trudge's cards can come anywhere close to punching through that. So, Spike Shield with Chain is another good stalling tactic until you can start generating A counters and just keeping Trudge's monsters from even thinking about attacking in the first place. 3 cards are recommended simply so that you can get one as quickly as possible. It shouldn't be too hard. It is just a rare, and similar to most of the other cards, it does come from a box. And honestly, another reason that I really like this deck is just because it is very, very cheap. And it's also dawning on me that I've been saying, I've been following the deck list to the letter, I've been following the deck list to the letter. That's a lie. I am sorry. The original deck list on Game A was to use Winged Dragon of Ra in place of Neo Parshoth, and an equip spell called Fury Meteor Crush in place of Sanctuary in the Sky. The idea is still the same. You use your Golden Ladybugs to regenerate a bunch of life points, and then in Ra's case, you would special summon him, dump all your life points into Ra, give it Fairy Meteor Crush so that it has a piercing effect, and then just attack any of Trudge's monsters. This deck works exactly the same way, except that Neo Parshoth already has a piercing effect while you have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field, so you don't need Fairy Meteor Crush, but you need Sanctuary in the Sky. Neo Parshoth is a little bit harder to get up to over 10,000 damage range, but it is possible to do so, especially because Trudge will more than likely hurt himself at some point in the duel previously, which makes it easier for your life points to go above his, and thus make it faster for Neo Parshoth to reach over 10,000 attack points. It's a very similar replacement that I've done in a lot of other decks that have said use Ra. I like to do it just because I don't currently know the unlock conditions for Ra. Last time it was around, it was as part of the Yami Merrick event. No idea if Ra is currently available, so if he's not, this is an alternative, but just a heads up, Neo Parshoth does require you to use a super rare ticket at the PvP arena. Moving on, looking at Trudge's new cards. I'm going to be skipping over a lot of these because they were part of the previous event, but know that he does have a good tuner in his Jute Fighter. It is a level 2 warrior tuner, and okay, so it does just change a face-up attack position monster your opponent controls to face-up defense position. Gate Blocker's another really good one just because it has 2,000 defense, but its effect is also pretty cool. It negates the effects of your opponent's field spell cards. Your opponent cannot place counters on anything, and your opponent cannot target other monsters you control with card effects. Very nice stall monster, but he's honestly just got some pretty cool cards all around. Normals are not one of them. His new normal is Kozaki. It's a level 1 Dark Fiend with 400 attack and 400 defense. I'm sure there's probably synchro summoning decks out there that would like this thing, but otherwise it's not worth it. Broken Blocker is his new rare. This is a trap card. You can activate this only when a defensive position monster you control, whose defense is higher than its attack, is destroyed in battle. Special summon up to 2 monsters with the same name as that monster from your deck in face-up defensive position. So, for example, because Gate Blocker has more defense than it does attack, if your opponent manages to destroy Gate Blocker in battle, excuse me, throat stopped working for a second. If your opponent manages to destroy Gate Blocker in battle, Broken Blocker will let you summon 2 Gate Blockers back to the field to replace it. So, very mean trap card. I know that there are some decks out there that like to stall with Big Shield Gardna. Those will probably like this card, and for that reason, I don't like those decks even more now. But, moving on. His new super rare is a fairly hilarious card, Retaliating Sea. The idea being that the sea is a cockroach that somebody is scared of because it's charging at them. Retaliating Sea is a level 4 Earth insect monster, 1400 attack and defense. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell card that includes an effect that special summons a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If summoned this way, while this card is face up on the field, any card sent to the graveyard would be banished instead. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Earth Insect type monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand, except Retaliating Sea. So, this is kind of an interesting card. It has a very nice banishing effect, but it only works if it's special summoned through that kind of weird effect. The only instance I can really think of would be something like maybe a ritual spell, or something like Premature Burial. I think that's the equip spell that lets you special summon out of the graveyard, I think. Those are really the only instances I can think of off the top of my head where you could special summon Retaliating Sea and get that banishing effect going. But more importantly is that, and I think this is how the effect works based on the wording, is that no matter how you summon it, if it gets sent from the field to the graveyard, you can search out another Earth Insect monster to replace it for your hand. So, I think there are some of those Insector monsters that qualify. I'm pretty sure most of those are Earth Insects. I think... I'm sure there's other cards that work, but right now it is almost 2 in the morning, and I am kind of a little mentally drained from the day, but moving on. And finally, Trudge's ultra rare, his first ultra rare, is Stygian Security, a level 1 Dark Fiend tuner with 100 attack and 600 defense. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, special summon 1 level 1 Fiend type monster from your deck, like say Stygian Security. So this is an enormously powerful card. A level 1 tuner is kind of a little difficult to work with, because most any other monster you could summon without a tribute would be 4, and there's not that many 5-star synchros in the game, at least not any that will accept something like Stygian Security as a tuner monster. But more importantly, it can replace itself, so if you do have good synchro summoning potential, you can easily do that. Because it replaces itself, you could easily just tribute the new one next turn for a 5 or 6 star. Lots of potential with this thing. It's a very nice card. Really hope you guys get as many copies of it as you can. But enough prattling. Let's just get on into the duel. I'm trying to get better about making these episodes move along a little bit more fluidly, a little bit more quickly. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully this works. I will admit that this alien farming deck does require a little bit of patience and foresight to properly use. It's not exactly like you can just slap things down and you're good. Yeah, we'll use Golden Ladybug, and in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and set Alien Warrior, set Spiked Shield with Chain, end my turn, and then I'm going to put my game on. I'm going to have to skip through a lot of requests to activate Spiked Shield with Chain, and I don't think he's actually going to attack this turn, so I'm going to actually put it back to auto. The main reason I wanted to put the game on to such rapid, to on when it comes to card effect activation is I wanted to make sure I could activate Spike Shield with Chain after Warrior got flipped face up for an attack, but before the attack actually got to go through. So that way I would have my super sturdy wall, and in fact I'm just going to go ahead and activate that right now. Oh, and he could just wiretap, so okay, no problems. I will just summon Telepath, and then I will set a silver combination device. So now Trudge will usually do one of two things. This is what I thought he was going to do. He summons his tuner, Juke Fighter, and he's going to synchro summon for either Goyo Guardian or his other synchro monster, Goyo Predator. It's Goyo Guardian, so cool, we actually get to see this. Also as part of the event, Goyo Guardian finally has a summoning animation. I've seen worse, but I've seen better. Kind of cool to see him running along the road, but sorry to say this, Trudge, but you're going to lose your synchro monster. Because I can toss a Warrior, and it's now going to lose 1200 attack for Telepath's effect, and another 1200 attack for Warrior's effect, because the A-Cell weakening effect stacks. I'm going to go ahead and summon Kid now. I don't think any of Trudge's... Sorry, my nose is a little stuffy. I don't think any of Trudge's monsters can easily... let me phrase this. I think the only monster of Trudge's that could be stronger than any of my aliens right now is, I think it's called Stygian Street Patrol. But it starts at a base 1600, and the AI will rarely destroy its own monster if it means it would be left undefended next turn. And even then, Street Patrol would only get stronger than my stuff if he banishes a certain type of card out of his graveyard, I think. Street Patrol might be the one of that set that actually just replaces itself when it's destroyed. I can't quite remember all of Trudge's card effects. I'm actually going to try attacking something. Okay, good. I at least prompted out a security orb, so I don't have to worry about that. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, Stygian Street Patrol. If this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original level of that monster in the graveyard times 100. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon a Fiend-type monster with 2000 or less attack from your hand. So, without Synchro Summoning, Trudge doesn't have anything stronger than 1600, I want to say. And there goes his face-up monster that I wanted to put A counters onto. Not super thrilled about that, Trudge, thank you. But I at least don't have to worry about your security orb. He still has his Dust Tornado, which is annoying. I'm going to go ahead and summon my other alien telepath. Going to try prompting... Okay, there's the other Regretful Rebirth. And he just destroys them both. And there goes my last telepath, so... Not great. I'm going to keep attacking in the hopes that I hit one of his assault dogs. Because assault dog is a monster that... It's another monster he has. It's another level 4. And it says when it is destroyed in battle, you can special summon up to 2 assault dogs from your deck. So I don't think he's used any yet, has he? No, he hasn't. So I'm hoping... I mean, it doesn't actually matter anymore because I've lost all my telepaths. So I'm just going to hit him, deal a little bit more life point damage, and make it easier for Parshoth to get stronger. And there's the Dust Tornado. Okay, cool. I don't have to worry about that ruining my Sanctuary in the Sky. So... Okay, he's Synchro Summoning for his other Synchro. And that was the Assault Dog. I should have attacked that. I would have Special Summoned too, and... He still would have been able to Synchro Summon, so it wouldn't have mattered, but... Alright. Fine with that. That gives him 2 A counters. Do not care about that at all. I don't think there's a reason to activate my recombination device. I have both my overlords. There's 2 of my warriors. Did I forget? Oh, did I send a warrior? Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm out of aliens. Yeah, I'm out of aliens, so I can't even activate my last recombination device. I'll go ahead and set Brainwashing Beam, just in case. I'm going to start putting A counters on his stuff so that he can't keep attacking me. And in case anybody is wondering why I'm not summoning my second Overlord, you can only control 1 at a time. So, having 2 is just to make it easier to draw 1. Excuse me. Or to have one that you can replace if Trudge manages to go after the first one. So, for example, if he had his Predator attack my Overlord instead, I could just tribute a warrior to summon the other one. But that's basically... I basically got him locked down. He can't really do anything right now. The only other cards, like spell trap cards he might have, would be like another Wiretap, but I'm not going to activate another trap card anytime soon. It's also just dawned on me that for having 3 copies of Spike Shield with Chain, the last 2 are in the last 4 cards of my deck. I'm not going to bother activating Brainwashing Beam. I will go ahead and set the Spike Shield with Chains when I draw them, just to put an extra 1,000 onto Neo Parshoth, even though he's already going to have well over 10,000. Because I can, and I want to. I'm actually going to put it in off right now. I'm going to put it in off on my turn just so that it stops asking me about Brainwashing Beam every time I use a Golden Ladybug. Let's go ahead and discard the worthless recombination device. Not concerned about his face down. Do the other Spike Shield. Get the 3 Golden Ladybugs. Set the Spike Shield. End turn, put it back to auto, just in case. And we get to win now. Oh, that's right. I forgot he wiretapped the first one. So, all 3 of my Spike Shield with Chains were in the last 4 cards. Cool. Thanks, RNG. Glad I was able to pull it off without them. Alright. So, let's see. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my Brainwashing Beam to take my Alien Warrior back. Why did I do that? Why did I want to be silly and cute? Now I'm going to have to wait another turn to draw out the last card and maximize my points. Well, I at least get to set my last Spike Shield with Chain. And you know, just for that, more A counters. I wanted to take my warrior back and then tribute both warriors for Parshoth. I didn't have to do that, but I wanted to. Okay. And I just realized that that could have ruined me, because Trudge is out of cards too. So if he was one card ahead of me, I would have just screwed it up, because I wanted to be silly. So, lesson learned. Let's go ahead, tribute Overlord and Warrior, activate Sanctuary on the Sky, go ahead and use the 3 spike shield with chains, boosting Parshoth up to a grand total of 19,800 attack points. And because he just inflicts piercing battle damage, doesn't matter what I attack, so I'm just going to attack the Coil Predator. 18,000 damage, Trudge is beaten. Nice and easy. Well, not really easy, but easier than the Euclidean deck I was using last time, I will tell you that much. You get anything cool? Nope. We got a Kozaki, which is kind of the opposite of cool, but okay. Tons of rewards. Oh, yeah. Alright, so as you saw, got another special order. I clicked through it, but I think it was standard duelists 5 times or something. Oh, that actually reminds me about regarding something the special. Bleh. I just remembered something about the special orders. If you use the, I gotta find a standard duelist. Here we go. If you use this rewards multiplier, the thing that lets you go, like, basically, it consumes 3 standard duelists, but it gives you 3 times the experience and 3 times on a ×3 multiplier on your duel assessment. If you use that to try and fast track things like just level grinding or searching for stuff, it still counts as 1 duel for the purposes of the special order list. So, as an example, this new defeat standard duelists 5 times, if I duel 1 person with the ×3 multiplier on, it still only counts as one instance of me defeating a standard duelist. So if you've gotten a lot of these special orders that specify defeat such a duelist this many times, or achieve a certain number of wins without using trap cards, it might be worth putting the multiplier back down to ×1 just so that you get more duels to go through and it's easier to accomplish some of these objectives. Something I wanted to bring up because I remember that's how it worked last time. And just to scroll through all the rewards that you can get by your cumulative score in the event. Starting off at 5,000 points, you can get 10 gems, then you get rare jewels, you'll get an experience booster at 20,000, another 20 gems at 40,000. Your first card is at 60,000. It's one of the assault dogs I mentioned, where when it's destroyed in battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon any number of them from your deck. 80,000 you get more gems. At 110,000 you actually get 40 free security badges to use. At 120,000 you'll get a copy of Broken Blocker. More gems, more gold, experience boosters. At 190,000 you get a copy of Gate Blocker. So, like I mentioned, very nice defensive card, very nice for just kind of turtling for a little bit if you need to. And it's also really nice that you are guaranteed to get a copy of it. More tokens, more gems, more usual stuff. At 290,000 you will get a copy of Samurai Sword Baron. Once per turn you can select a defensive position monster your opponent controls, change it to face-up attack position. Can be good in certain situations, and it is also a level 4 Earth Warrior with 1600 attack points. There are a lot of cards in the game that warriors work with, so that alone makes it a nice monster, even with its somewhat subpar attack. And there's more gems, more gold, more other stuff. The next card is at 600,000, a copy of Retaliating Sea. 760,000 you will get a copy of Jute Fighter. At 1,150,000 you will actually get a card that I think I think this used to be a reward and they took it out, actually. I think. I need to check on that, actually, when I'm done with this. Yeah, this is Goyo Chaser. I think this was his ultra rare the last time he came around, but this is a level 5 Earth Warrior Synchro, 1900 attack, 1000 defense. It will accept any tuner and any non-tuners. This card gains 300 attack for each Earth Warrior type Synchro monster on the field, other than this card. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your side of the field, but its attack becomes halved. So, kind of an interesting card. It is a level 5, so the Stygian security tuner can work with any level 4. Relatively easy to summon, somewhat low attack points, but it is a warrior, so again, lots of warrior support. I kind of forgot that was there, honestly. Like, I thought it was, yeah, that's interesting. I don't think they've ever taken out a reward card before. Anyway, 1.4 million, you will get his Officer Trudge's new skill, which is Parole. I'll go into what that is in just a moment. At 2.2 million, you will get a copy of Stygian Security. And something I forgot to mention is that each of the Ultra Rare Jewels you've seen, those replace a one-time reward. So, for example, this last one at 2.6 million replaces the icon you get. I already got the icon the last time the event came around, so because I can't have 2 copies of the same icon, the game automatically replaces it with an Ultra Rare Jewel, which does remind me that you unlock Officer Trudge at 2.4 million, I want to say. Actually, I can just check right here. Just go into the event details. You probably saw it. Yeah, 240,000. Did I say 240 million? Way too hard. 240,000 you get to unlock Officer Trudge for you to use. And his new Parole skill says that you can return a monster that has been special summoned from your opponent's graveyard to your side of the field to their deck and increase your life points equal to the original attack of that monster. Skill can only be used once per turn and up to twice per duel. So, very, very specific summoning or activation requirements. You pretty much have to use one of the Goyo monsters because they all have this effect of special summoning something out of the opponent's graveyard when they destroy it in battle. But it's kind of an interesting skill. I mean, it's very nice that you get life points equal to the original attack of the monster. So, you know, to use the alien deck, for example, if Trudge has destroyed an Overlord, summon it back to his side of the field, and then used Parole on it, yes, it would be shuffled back into my deck, which is not the best scenario, because he's giving me a card back to use. But he also gains 2,200 life points. That's a pretty significant amount of healing. There's not many cards that can give you that much life points in one instance like that. Yeah, and I think that about covers everything. Just, again, another reminder, you can get a second Stygian Security by completing 70 special orders. Hopefully everybody has enough time to do that, considering how late I put up this event coverage, and I'm rambling again, and it's 2:15 and I need to go to bed. Anyway, yeah, so that was the re-release of the Trudge event. I'm going to go ahead and check really quick. I just need to see. There, the card catalog decides to load. There's a lot of cards. A lot of cards. Open that. Text search. And it just dawned on me. Okay, good. I am still recording. Search Goyo. Yeah. Yeah, they took this out of the event. Because it's an ultra rare. But it's not listed under his rewards. Sorry, I didn't mean to whistle there. Yeah, that's weird. You can't get Goyo Chaser right now. I mean, aside from the one you get through the cumulative score, that's bizarre. Huh. No, I'm sorry if anybody missed out on getting some Goyo Chasers the last time Trudge came around. You can at least get one more, I guess. Anyway, yeah, that about does it. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all had a great time listening to me ramble on and on. And I hope you all have a great day. And I will see you all in the next one.